Next is from Sangana Chanko. The subject is Vince Russo's out of touch. Good day, K100. Before you read the subject and think I'm a hater, I'm not. I was too young during the Attitude Era, but I saw Vince booking TNA, and subjectively, I thought it sucked. But Disco was right last week when he mentioned that Vince might be out of touch and doesn't understand the state of the wrestling business in 2024. Yes, only 1.9 million people watch Raw Live on Monday, but when Triple H tweeted out the official match graphic, it was viewed by 9 million people, and that's the business today. There's also a very stark contrast in the amount of hype that WWE has versus AEW currently, and AEW basically announced Sasha Banks. Well, it didn't announce Sasha Banks, he teased it, and it got instantly buried in all the news. Do you think the WWE can maintain this hot streak, and do you think AEW can piggyback off any of this hype? The answer to the piggyback, no, they can't. Bro, the formula for the WWE success is laid out on 5 hours of television every week. Very clear. You're watching how they produce their show. You can subscribe to their social media channels, and you see what they're doing and the business they created, and like you're literally not doing. Bro, the AEW open. I watch Collision, right? Like they open the show at Collision, and the announcers talk for like 10 seconds, and they just introduce the first match. It's like, the WWE tells stories. When you turn on their television show, they fill everybody in at the they're assuming 20%. They probably have about 20% of the 80% of their fans probably watch every week, and 20% are casual viewers that go in and out of weekly television. For those 20% people, that make it very simple for them to catch up.
And not only that, Disco, and not only that, WWE makes the entrance part of the match.
Right.
So everybody's got cool entrances and they take their time. Here they're walking out real quick to have a long match.
Right. You're hurrying up.
What cool entrance is there? I like the graphic for Thunder Rosa when she comes out. That looks really cool.
Right.
And who's the other one that I like? And I like Toni Storm because, she's so wild, right? With the black and white and all that. But other than that, nope. I can't think of any other entrance.
Let me just Collision. I'm just going to bring it up, okay?
Right.
You're opening up, and it's Moxley and Claudio against these two Mexican guys, right?
Right.
This show should have started with a package showing what the Mexican wrestlers did, okay? Showing what they've done, and a bio introduction on each guy. Like who are these guys? It's just okay. Like, bro, you should have spent 3 to 4 minutes explaining who these guys are, and showing them, and then go into the announcers. The announcer talking up, there's a tough ad, and you go to Moxley and them entrance. And you talk about Moxley, they'd stuff, and then you go to the Mexican guy's entry. Now you kind of like, okay, here they come. Now let's talk even more about them. Bro, they just marched them out there. No backstory, and just they have the match and they get beat. And it's like, really? It's like, dude, like that is so, like on a level of like booking and like writing a show, you literally accomplish nothing than to just, you debuted these guys a couple weeks ago, and from the time they debuted where they attacked Moxley, you could have done a really good job of telling people who they are and everything. Instead, 2 weeks later, they're just getting beat. And it's like, you got absolutely nothing out of CMLL guy. Like nothing. These guys have already been beat. I still don't know who they are. They're obviously not competitive challenges for the tag titles because it's like
they got beat in their debut.
Right. Oh yeah, so
pull that mic away, Di.
Yeah, so I'm like, dude, it's like you look at what the other company would have probably done with them. But everybody's talking about now that Okada's going to AEW. It's like, great. They're going to trot him out there like everybody knows who he is and everybody knows his record, everybody knows his backstory, everybody knows, they're going to act like everybody should know everything about Okada. And it's like, I don't really know a lot about the guy because I don't watch New Japan. I don't even know if he can speak English. So it's like I don't know. Like all I know is I read the dirt sheets and he's Meltzer's highest rated guy of all time for matches. And I'm like, I've watched some of his matches. I'm like, the matches are fine, but I'm not looking at that guy's work based on his star rating. It's like that's one of the greatest workers in the history of the business. I look at Bret Hart and Henning and Tully Blanchard. Like these guys are way better than this guy. With details. So that's just me from an educated perspective of work in this business. So I don't know.
Well, here's a little from Dave, who's been a little more negative recently. This is from Observer Radio, of course. He said, of the 3 big free agents, Will Ospreay, Okada, and Mercedes Moné, AEW got all 3 in this run, and yet perception of the company is such that if this was a year or 18 months ago and they signed these 3 people, it would be like, it's going to turn around. And it may not turn around, but just get bigger. Now the perception of the company is such they got to do something about the perception because it's down. And he also said Mercedes and the Boston show sold about 5,700 tickets on the first couple of days, which is obviously for an AEW show. That's very good. It's not through the roof. I don't think it's going to be a sellout because it's only a couple of weeks away.
Okay, no, I want to make a good point here. Connan's talking about this. But bro, Dave has been critical of AEW.
Sure.
But it's like, but he's critical of it when it becomes like ultra obvious. It's like you can't look at their numbers lately and think like the way Tony is saying, I don't understand. This is one of our best runners shows we've ever had, and people being like, dude, you're not drawing. That's every promoter, but that like you're the owner of the company. So the buck stops with him. Like, it's your money.
You know what he feels like? This is what he feels like. He feels like the Mets, who had the largest payroll in baseball, but didn't even make the playoffs. Like, he's got all these wrestlers. Right. He's had all these wrestlers. It's almost like the guy, and I brought this up before, who got a lot of money, right? And he's got like 15 cars. Are you going to drive them all at once? He doesn't even know what to do with what he has.
Point. Here's my point. Let's pretend that Tony Khan was just the booker and not the owner.
Right.
And like he had to answer to somebody. And it's like, dude, you're having to like, because his narrative is, I don't understand what's going on. Like, we've have a great run of shows lately. Because he had an interview lately. He was talking about like, this is the best run of shows they've ever had with the Continental Classic. And I'm like, dude, you drew some
bro, but he's a bubble within a bubble. He's the owner.
My point.
It's his money, his life, his baby, his reputation. So he doesn't look at it realistically.
He's literally not taking any accountability for the numbers. He's actually arguing the opposite of what is actually happening.
Right.
This is the greatest run of shows you've ever had. And like, dude, this is like one of the worst runs of shows you've ever had. Like, the numbers are not equating your narrative, but you're in charge. And like, there's nobody above you. So how is this all going to change? If you think that you're doing one of your best run of shows ever and it's not drawing anything, like, so my thing is like, yeah, Dave.
The matches may be good, and they are, but maybe what they're telling you to do something besides matches.
Right. And Dave is even now looking at this and like, hey, I like AEW. I like the wrestling and stuff, but they're obviously not doing things right, and I can't continue to promote this product like ad nauseum and try to help you guys. Like, dude, I don't think
I'll lose all my credibility.
He's basically saying, why would I think Okada, Mercedes Moné, and Will Ospreay are going to be a big deal here? Like, it's like, I'm looking for you. Like, you think guys, like, stuff has been a big deal, and it hasn't. It's like, if you book them the same way you book, you know what's going to happen? Let me hypothetically, if I could bet on this, okay, and if I could bet on this, but nobody knew I was placing this bet and was offered, right? Because if I say it, maybe it might change the bet. Like, who would you bet Okada's first 3 opponents are going to be in AEW? I guarantee you, me and Konnan are going to have one of the exact same answer for sure. Go ahead.
Jericho, Joe.
I want to know.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Konnan.
Okada?
Yeah, Okada's first 3 matches.
What was that guy that they just hired that he's black and he wears a poncho?
Shane Taylor.
No.
Oh,
no, he wears a poncho.
Keith
something Lee.
Something Lee.
Shane Taylor?
Just Shane Lee.
No, bro. The black guy that wears the poncho, dude. And the hat. And they call him the bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter, right. Keith something. He's going to be one of them, right?
Yeah, he's one of them.
Hey, who else?
Lee Moriarty's the other one. Okay, wait a minute.
That was the one I was going to say for sure.
Ryan Keith.
Ryan Keith. Lee Moriarty, and who else? Oh, Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
He's in the main event.
Yeah.
On AEW.
Daniel could also use a protein drink.
I would bet. I would willing, like, if you could do a parlay and bet it, I would put money on that. I'd put $100 to win like $2,000. Like, that would be Okada's first 3 opponents,
I'd say Jericho, Sammy, and
why
Adam Copeland.
Nah, okay, well, no. No, Joe, you're booking. You're giving logical opponents.
Huh?
Okay, I'm telling you. I'm asking you how Tony would book them, because honestly, Okada, bro, if I'm booking AEW and Okada walks on TV and they introduce him, the first guy walking on the thing I didn't see is Adam Copeland. Dude, I've heard about you. It's like, you're supposed to be like the bro. Like he's like Adam Copeland's kind of like their biggest star. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, like he's like the guy with the most clout in his character. And right now he's doing nothing. He's wrestling matches to get wins, to get back up in the ranks to wrestle Christian. That's literally the angle they're doing with the guy. like just wins on TV to increase your record and maybe move up. He should go out there, bro, do 2 to 3 weeks of TV with this guy. Put it in the main event of a Dynamite. Draw a number. Use your talent that you have that you like. I don't know what Tony even considers his top talent are. Because I think Tony thinks that because Orange Cassidy has a belt that he's one of his top talents. It's like Orange Cassidy has a belt, but Edge is a bigger talent, a bigger draw than he is. Jericho's a bigger draw than he is. There's a bunch of guys that are a bigger draw than he is, that you would think. But Cassidy does decent numbers because he wins every match he wrestles.
Well,
bro, do that with your top guys.
He has a cool gimmick for kids.
Right. But I'm saying
he brings it too.
Right. But bro, I think they had Orange Cassidy versus Ishii the other day on TV.
Did they?
Bro, let me tell you something. This is funny. Tony Khan said that he would not.
Let Mike for me again. Sorry, dude.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. You start over.
There you go. So Tony Khan said, remember that he's on record. I'm not going to make the same mistakes that WCW made. Right? One of the biggest mistakes that WCW made was just constantly pushing the older talent and not elevating the mid-card guys to the level that the fans were. They had the crowd. Right. We should have elevated them and integrated them with the top guys. But the top guys kiboshed it because they wanted to keep their spots, and Eric was kind of with the top guys, right? So that was one of the mistakes they made. Bro, 3 weeks in a row on Dynamite, okay? Literally 3 weeks in a row, they have had a guy over 50 years old in the main event on 3 consecutive shows. Now, if you're going to say, I'm not going to make the same mistakes that WCW made, and literally you're going to do some of the exact same things that WCW is doing, putting older talent in the main events on your show and stuff, you're literally I don't know how people can argue against that. You're making the same mistakes, and your show is not resonating with fans and not drawing. I mean, am I right, Konnan? Did you know that? That 3 weeks in a row they had a 50-plus-year-old guy in the main event of the show?
Who was it? Sting?
Sting. Okay. Suzuki.
Right.
Okay. And who's the other one? Joe, look at the past 3 main events of Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one in there. An older guy that's just, wouldn't even think, you don't really notice the guy's older, but he's over 50 years old. All right. Okay. So we'll do one more email here because I got to run.
Oh, yeah. And let me say just before you do, Okada is going to be available, it says, for AEW on February 28th. And since Disco, you said, draw a number, okay, let's video package Okada up and then either have him main event with Joe or Edge at that Boston
Somebody.
show. So you have Okada showing up and Sasha. You'll get a good number.
But here's the thing, bro. The AEW has been the only metric they do very well in is with big shows. When they promote a show is a bigger deal than the other shows. They're having trouble with weekly television. My thing is okay, do a big show. I've done Boston. Next week, do another big show with your A-list talent in the main event and stuff. And instead of sticking Wheeler Yuta versus Edge and some mid-card you think you're trying to elevate but put him in the main event and it hadn't worked. Let's be honest. Daniel Garcia is still not a main eventer, and he's been in 7 or 8 main events on that company so far.
Yeah,
think about that.
More.
Maybe more. Dude, it's that's go with the formula that worked in the past. Main eventer is main eventing.
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was Sting, Suzuki, like you said, and Rob Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam, 51 years, 15 years. Okay, and he's not going to make the same mistakes WCW made. But literally 3 weeks in a row.
The same thing we're right. because one of the things is nostalgia sells.
Right. But it's not selling. It didn't really put a dent in the numbers because the rest of the show is whatever. So, and then I don't even think they announced Rob Van Dam. They announced him during the show. It was a surprise,
yeah. What Adam Page picked him the first Survivor Summit. Yeah.
I don't know. I heard Tony shows up at the shows. Okay, goes in a room, comes out about 2:00 or 2:30 in the afternoon, and say, "Here's the show." And they look at it and they put it on the board, and then they have the matches. If they got to tape some vignettes, or in the back they tape a couple of things. That's literally how he's booking the show. And everybody kind of was the way he talks like he does, he acts like he spends a lot of time on this. But my thing is I don't think he does at all, because dude, if you're running a football team, an English soccer team, and AEW, And I'm hearing that's how you book AEW. You just go in a room and write down some matches and come out later. That's what that show looks like.
That'd be surprising.
Every single week, every single week.
I think that a guy that was so in love with wrestling and booking since he was a kid and did the booking games and stuff. Maybe it's week to week, but I would be surprised if he did it night of. I bet like on Sunday he's already got his notebook. Dynamite, Collision.
No.
Yeah.
He has his format from the video game thing.
Maybe.
No, he's got everything formatted for the fantasy booking game, like long term, and he just goes in the room and sees what week he's on, and later that's what the show looks like, right? But anybody that like, bro, I play fantasy football, okay, and I play like daily fantasy sports. Tony actually works as a, I think he's one of the metric, like he's one of their metrics team that they have in football and soccer. Bro, you're spending a lot of time like watching tape and doing numbers. Like that takes up time. So I guarantee you, like the football and the soccer stuff is taking up way more time than the professional wrestling does. But I think Tony's trying to sell the stories like, like this is his favorite thing to do. But in his mind, he thinks, why could you just book? I can just plug everything into my video, my fantasy booking chart, and just and makes it very easy for me to write the show in a couple hours or an hour, which is exactly what that show looks like every week. Is that what it looks like to you, Konnan?
I didn't think of it that deeply. Just something. There's a lot of things wrong, and we brought them up.
Right, and I think the reason it's not going to change is because I don't think Tony's going to change the process that he uses to book the show.
Yeah,
where he's
doing nothing wrong. Yeah,
where he's got this format. He's got this thing. Okay, what week am I on here? Okay, these are the matches that I had programmed in, and like we can fit those. That's what it looks like he's doing, which is why
he's probably liking and thumb up a lot of positive comments and probably negative comments. He's like, what do they know?
Right. So
don't forget the cage match show ratings are up charts too.
Right. But this is the ultimately it's guys like Dave Meltzer. Okay. Have to understand and be honest with what is going on with that company.
Right.
You can't just like have them produce a show, come on afterwards as an analyst of this industry and just say, wow, there's great matches. What great matches these were. Okay, Dave, yeah, but the show's not going to do a good number. Like you may like the matches. Let's discuss why you think the show is not doing well with numbers other than just like saying, well, the show's not doing well right now. It's like, dude, as a number one guy in the paper record, you should understand why they're not. Me and Konnan are laying a lot of basic stuff out very plainly. The biggest error that AEW makes every single week is not making it easy for new fans to get engaged in the product. They don't tell you who the guys are, no backstory. The announcers sound like they don't really know what's going on with the characters or the storylines and stuff. And it's very difficult to pick up other than if you just want to turn on TV and watch a good match. It's like, okay, well, that you have that audience. It's like now you need to get more people to watch because the WWE is drawing 2 to 3 times as many fans as you are, and 9 times as many on social media impressions. So what are they doing that you're not doing if the wrestling's so good? It's like, well, you're not promoting the wrestlers. You're not letting anybody know who these people are. You're not telling them what they've been doing this past. You're just throwing them on TV and having them have matches. And that's what we're seeing. The dirt sheet guys have to, instead of being fans of the company, if they're more critical, okay, maybe that could get Tony to like change his philosophy and change the way he does this stuff and then improve the product. But if they keep just putting it over, great matches, and Tony's like, yeah, I booked some great matches. Maybe I'll get Booker of the Year. Like, that ain't going to help anything. And it's not. It's when those guys start coming around to like, and not thinking the guys like me, you, and Bischoff and Vince and stuff, and Cornette are just hating. That's what you guys think we're not. We're telling you things that would resonate and improving your business. And if you don't want to take the advice, it's like, I'm not hating. I'm just pointing out things that I see from an educated perspective of stuff that like, this ain't going to draw. And like, we know it's not going to draw, but you think it's going to draw. Like, so listen to why we think it's not going to draw. And when it doesn't, maybe you say, hey, maybe we were right. So good.
What do you think of Joe's new look? I like him.
Let me see here. Well, the gold glasses, the lip. Yeah, it's kind of, you know what Artie used to say? It's like throwing a hula skirt on a dump truck. Oh, no, hula skirt on a trash can. No. Hula skirt on a trash can.
Right.
And mag wheels on a dump. Mag wheels on a dump truck.
and a bumper sticker on a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, those are Art's favorite names. It's mag wheels. It's mag wheels on a dump truck.
Is that what Joe is to you, Cisco?
A dump truck.
Dude, I had a friend of mine from Atlanta, a kid that moved out here to Vegas.
I think it's
And he was just some fat guy who knew at the sports bar, right? But it was funny, you know. We always say hang out with the sports bar. He's like bro. He wanted to come to the show we did at Caesar's Palace. We did a Caesar's Palace show like 1996, like early 1995 maybe, right? And he came backstage, wanted to meet Ric Flair, and he had tape on his glasses, right? He had the dark glasses with the tape on them in the middle. And I came and introduced to Ric Flair, and he's like, he was like, the guy marked out everything, right? So the guy left our name, his cousin, he goes, who's the fly-by-night with the tape on his glasses?
Fly by night. Nice.